Mark from the States, Mark from the States, it's Mark from the United States.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Mark from the States. How are we doing today? I am doing fantastic. I hope you are as well. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate all of you for coming and sitting on this big fake couch with me and seeing something new and something that I can learn and experience for the first time. New channel alert. I would have lights flashing if I had any sort of technical skills. Kaylin from Girl Gone London has graciously giving our channel her blessing to be able to learn from her videos, and they are awesome. So it is so important, and I cannot stress this enough. Go to her channel, support her work. She is an American that is now living in the UK. I'm not quite sure how long she's been there. Quite a while, I think. But it's important that you go and support her channel. The links to this video and to her channel will be in the description below. So please, 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 please go and give her your love like I know you can do. Just one like helps. As you know, my channel, your channel, our channel is here for fun, learning, and getting to hang out with new friends. Right? So it's important that you go and support the original content creator, because without them, we can't learn and see new and amazing things. Today's video, I had never seen these common British items before moving to the UK, and I'm excited because I've got to briefly talk to her through email. She seems like a wonderful person. So I'm looking at her now. I'm going to go ahead and dart out so you can see what I'm seeing. I do recognize her, and maybe in my, maybe a few years ago, we may have seen one of her videos, because the name and she's looking familiar. But I am so blessed that now, since I'm trying to get everyone's permission to be able to do their videos from here on out, I'm very, very happy that she has allowed us to experience what she's experienced on a daily over there. So please, again, go support her channel. It's really important. Okay, common British items that she's never seen before. She being an American. So just off the top of my head, just trying to come up with something that maybe we don't have that they would have, and I'm just drawing a blank. I really don't know. So this is going to be informative for sure. I know your outlet, the outlet and plug for electrical devices is vastly different than ours and way better. So you don't have to tell me. I know it's way better. But doing these videos and learning all these new stuff, I've probably seen a lot of these. I don't know. We're going to get into it. Big Fake Couch, you know the drill. Let's get into it.
So let's get started with the list. Number one is a switch to turn on a socket like this. So
okay,
if you're not in the UK, this is what a British socket or outlet looks like.
And I mentioned that at the beginning of the video. I only know it because I've seen the video, or a video. Tom Scott, I think his name is. He did a video on the British plug. So I've seen this, how they are, with the switch and all that stuff. In fact, when my son was just there, one of the things I told him, we had to get him an adapter for his phone to charge and so on. That I mentioned it to him that, make sure you gotta have that thing switched on. There's a little switch on each of the outlets, which is, it's a brilliant idea. And I'm not here to even try to say that they're not probably the better design in the world. It's good stuff. So I have seen these. So I wonder if a lot of these are, since I've already kind of cheated by watching all these videos, am I going to have seen a lot of these?
Looks like, and you do have to turn on the electricity to it using the individual switch on the plug. This is not something that we have in the US, or at least that I had ever seen before. Our system was simply that you plug something in, the outlet is always on, as it were, there's no on-off switch, and so you plug something in and it gets charged. Here in the UK, if you forget to actually turn on the electricity to the outlet, you can plug something in and have it not actually be charging, which is better for conserving electricity, but it's not better for an American who moves to the UK and used to forget this. So I would plug in my phone or something and it wouldn't be charging, even though I thought it was. So that's something that if you are moving to the UK that you might need to get used to. The next thing on my list is a shaving point, which looks like this and is a type of outlet in a UK bathroom that you plug your like shaver and like an electrical toothbrush has this kind of charger. It's a different outlet and a different type of plug that goes into it. I had never encountered this before.
Interesting.
Never seen a different kind of plug to be used in the bathroom. American bathrooms just have regular outlets in them, which is not allowed in the UK, but in America it is. So you can plug in anything you want in an American bathroom. There's no separate style of plug. And so when I first moved to the UK, I'm like, what is this contraption on the wall in the bathroom? And how do I plug in my hairdryer? Turns out you can't plug in a hairdryer into a UK bathroom for safety reasons, electrical reasons. There's a higher electrical voltage in the UK. But in America, again, you want to plug in your hairdryer over the running water? No one cares. Plug it in. So we don't have different outlets in the bathroom, and that is something that I first encountered when I moved to the UK. Next on my list, and we're going into the kitchen now.
So that's just so I'm correct here, or I understand, it's just an outlet for like electric shavers or something similar, toothbrush. Does it carry the same voltage to it, or are these... It's interesting because like she said, we're so used to being able to plug in whatever. It's the same outlet in the bathroom as it is out here in my living room. So you could, and we have, if I need to vacuum the hall, I could plug it in, the vacuum, in the bathroom and just be out in the hallway vacuuming the carpet. Or, we'll use an iron. You can plug it in the bathroom if you're going to do some ironing, or it's not so much an iron per se anymore. It's more like a steamer. I'd plug those into the bathroom. Of course, my wife has her curling iron and other hair tools that require power. So they get plugged into the bathroom. And they just sit there right on the sink, the counter right next to the sink, all plugged in. Yeah, if you would be freaked out if you were to see my wife's bathroom, for sure. But interesting, very interesting. And to kind of just combo back with the plug, I probably would just leave it on. I think I would never flip the switch unless it automatically, after a while, gets turned off. I don't know. I'd probably just leave it on so it's always hot. You can just plug it in. But no, that's never Never seen that or even heard of that before. That's crazy.
Now is an egg cup, and I mentioned this in my video about eggs. We typically don't have egg cups as common household items in America.
That is
we
true.
typically don't eat eggs this way by doing the kind of like dippy egg and Soldiers kind of experience.
No.
If we were to have a hard-boiled or soft-boiled egg, we would kind of just put it on the plate or maybe in like a small dish, but we wouldn't have a specific egg cup for it. Again, I'm sure some Americans do, especially if you have relatives or, recent family history from other parts of the world. But your standard all-American family are not going to have egg cups in the house. So that was something I first encountered when I moved to the UK.
That is a true statement. I got my first egg cup from one of you guys who sent it to me. I have not used it yet because honestly, I don't know how. I love hard-boiled eggs and make it like what we call egg salad all the time. I just boil the eggs in there and I crack them, peel them, put them in a bowl and, smash them all up and eat it. Add mayonnaise or whatever I'm going to add. But I've never had it just eating an egg in an egg cup isn't that how you kind of crack the shell and you could then just eat with some of the shell still on the egg? Is that how I'm not even sure how it works. I really don't. That is not a common thing. I've never, and she's right. I'm sure it does happen and people do eat hard boiled eggs that way or something like that, but I've never seen it. It's crazy and awesome.
And the next thing on my list, which is going to be one of the more surprising ones, is a kitchen scale for food, a food scale. Yes, I have seen a scale that you step on with your body, but I had never seen a scale that you weighed food with before living in America.
No.
So we typically use a different system of measurements, which everybody complains about in the comment section when they comment on my videos saying, why do all American recipes just measure stuff in cups? What's a cup? A cup is an actual form of measurement. You actually buy a measuring cup that looks like this. And yeah, we measure stuff in cups and obviously tablespoons, teaspoons, whatever. We don't measure stuff typically in our recipes in weight, in grams and stuff like that. So yeah, it is confusing because it'll be like a cup of chopped bananas, but it's like, how chopped are these bananas? Or a cup of flour, and there's a very specific way you're supposed to put the flour in the cup in order to make sure it's not too jam-packed. It is confusing, I know,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, on my list, I had never seen a kitchen food scale. I'd never seen it. I'm not saying Americans don't use it who are better at cooking than me, but in my experience living in the US, I have never seen a kitchen food
I'm
scale.
with ya.
Now I use it all the
Never
time.
seen it
Do
either.
not worry, I have been converted both by necessity and by choice, but yeah, I lived for 20 plus years in America, never having seen a food scale in the kitchen. And another very obvious thing in the UK that I had not experienced in the US, and this is partly due to my background because I was born and raised in Florida, I had never seen a radiator like this. I swear to you, had never seen one before, had no idea how to turn it on. When people talk about bleeding the radiator, I'm like, what does that even mean? No idea. In where I'm from in Florida, mostly we use air conditioning. We don't really need the heat, but if we do,
Exactly.
It comes from the same kind of HVAC system as the air conditioning, so it's like heated air rather than the radiator style. And I just had never been in a house with a radiator. The next thing on my list is I had never.
Some older homes, now maybe not so much in Florida, where she's right, it's warm majority of the time of the year, so you don't tend to need a heater. But the majority of the homes, I think, their older homes will have radiators, obviously. So it's not uncommon. I think it would be uncommon the style of radiator you have. I don't know if she's even getting, I may be jumping ahead here, but along the lines of heating is the heated towel rack thing that you have. That's pretty different as well. Tend to not have something like that. And she's right. There's probably places, little pockets that do, and I'm gonna say like the Northeast, the New England area, where it's more, the old colonies from the original colonies. The older homes up there may still have these sort of things, but where I'm from, you don't see it because most of the time it's really warm. She's from Florida. Most of the time it's warm. You're not going to be needing something like that, but it can be confusing trying to figure it out.
Never seen a window like this with a key in the lock. Not kidding. All of the windows that I had experienced in Florida were, I think, what they are called here as sash windows. And there is like a little latch, but it just goes up and down. It slides up and down. There is not a specific key to go in the window. So when I first moved to the UK and discovered windows with keys that went in the locks, it was a very different experience. Now, I've mentioned this in another video, but I don't
I've seen
the
those
key
before.
Type of windows. I have to say I prefer ones that just have like an easy latch that you can just open, not worry about losing the key if you've locked the window or something like that. I'm sure it's better for security, but I was just always used to windows that you simply had a little latch on the inside that goes up and down.
My windows slide left and right, and they have a little latch, so when they're closed, you have this latch that you just flip down, and it locks the window, and then flip it up, slide it open. But yeah, some other older homes and stuff like that will have the sliding windows that go up and down. The key one, not very common, but I have seen those.
On that note, the next thing on my list was I had never experienced a set of windows that had a smaller one that you could simply only open that one. So
Whoa.
I just was used to big, kind of like single pane windows.
Yeah, never seen that.
It is what it is. It's just like a giant piece of glass that can go up and down. Whereas here in the UK, I've encountered so many different types of window configurations, and mine and a lot of others that I see have this like tiny window, so you can open the tiny window to like let moisture out of the house or to get some airflow in without opening the whole window. But having just like a little tiny baby window as part of the bigger window frame is definitely something that I hadn't seen
never
before
seen that
moving
either.
to the UK. Okay, the next thing on my list that I had never seen before is a vacuum cleaner with a face on it, namely Henry the Hoover. Now, he is popular in businesses and in homes, so he's definitely like a solid industrial kind of like business cleaner as well. But you can definitely have one for your house, a Henry the Hoover. He's just adorable. I mean, it's a vacuum cleaner with a face. I'm sold. I don't currently own one, but I'm debating about getting one to do a video about Henry the Hoover. So if you think I should do that, comment down below.
That's awesome.
The next thing on my list that I had not seen before moving to the UK is a combo washer and dryer. So if you're watching this from outside of the UK, and particularly from like outside of Europe, you might be surprised to know that there exists such a thing as a combination washer and dryer. Had never experienced this in the US. We just have bigger homes typically, and even like in a small apartment, even though I had lived in smaller places in the US, we would typically like go to the laundromat or go to like the laundry services within the apartment building. So maybe you didn't have it in your apartment, but you weren't gonna have like a tiny combo washer dryer in your apartment or in your flat. So experiencing this for the first time was definitely very confusing. I was a student in London and we were like looking around the flat trying to figure things out, and we're very confused as to whether it was a washing machine or a dryer, because we thought it had to be one or the other until we realized that actually it did both. The next thing on
before she continued, that I never knew they had something like that. Maybe not too long ago. I would be the same as her. But recently, you're seeing them, like I've been to Lowe's, which is like Home Depot, the home improvement store. And I was looking at appliances just the other day, and they are all over the place now. They're making a huge push here, the combination washer dryer. So I did see them before hearing her talk about it. But yeah, I think they're going to be a thing over here as well, because I mean, if it works really well, total space saver. It's a pain in the butt to have both. It really is.
Because we thought it had to be one or the other until we realized that actually it did both. The next thing on my list that was new to me when I moved to the UK are separate taps. So mixer taps that look like this are the most common in the US and were the most common where I grew up. I really don't think I had ever seen a separate taps or faucets, as we would say in the States. So hot being on one side, cold being on the other. I have covered this in other videos, and there are lots of funny memes on the internet about like how to decide whether to use the hot or cold and how to mix them without scalding yourself or being freezing. This is just something I wasn't exposed to in the US before moving to the UK, and they're not all over the UK depending on like when the building was built. So I don't have them in my house now. I'm actually just trying to think. Do I? No, I don't. But like if you go to an older building or a pub or something, it's very common sometimes to have
We've talked
these
about
separate
this
taps here, which I had never seen.
Video.
The next thing on my list is a hot water bottle. And the first time someone said hot water bottle here, I was just thinking about a water bottle that they would somehow make hot. No, that's not it. This also, again, has to do with being from Florida, where it's very hot anyway, so we don't necessarily need help there. But I had just never seen this item, which is a hot water bottle. So you actually fill this like rubber container with hot water, and then it has a covering over it, and people just like cuddle up with it or put it in their bed at night when it's cold in the UK. And this is just something I had not been exposed to, and now I own two.
I have seen the hot water bottle when I was a child. We actually used it quite a bit. Stomach aches. We always used it not to be warm because, again, here in California, Ventura, it doesn't get cold for about 300, it's warm 300 some odd days a year. But I used it for like earaches. My mom would have me lay on it, or hold it to my ear if I had earache or if I had a stomach ache, that sort of thing. For ailments, we never used it to get warm. So always used medical reason. But this was in the 70s, so they've definitely fallen out of favor. But who knows? Maybe they've always been a way to warm your body, I guess. Why not? I don't know. Interesting.
The next thing on my list is I had never seen carpet in a bathroom before moving to the UK. And this is something that is not common in the UK nowadays, from what I can tell. But I have definitely been in older homes, like grandma era homes, or like a grandma lives there and hasn't updated it in a long time kind of home, where they have carpet in the bathroom. Possibly this exists in places in America. Again, I'm not necessarily blaming the UK for this weird practice, in my opinion, but it was something that I had never seen in any home I had been in America. And in the UK, I've experienced it a couple times. To me, this doesn't make sense. To me, the bathroom is the last place that you would want carpet. So if you have carpet in your bathroom, someone please explain the reasoning. I think there's multiple obvious reasons why this would not really make sense or be a good idea. Though I do love carpet, and I prefer, fun fact, carpet over tile and hardwood flooring. So I'm on board with carpet as a floor covering. I'm just not on board with carpet in the bathroom. And I have seen it in a couple of houses in the UK. So again, someone please explain, if this is you, how that happened. The next thing on my list, and a very obvious one people mention all the time, so we're gonna mention it and then fly right over it, is I had never seen an electric kettle before moving to the UK. And I know I even say the word kettle weird, according to most Brits. Had never seen it. I had seen ones that you put on the stovetop, but I had never seen one that you plug in before I moved to the UK.
See, that's so funny.
Just hadn't.
We talked about it at the very beginning. I'd only really seen the ones that you put on the stove and heat up, and the electric kettle. Now everybody's got them. That's funny.
Okay, next on my list is I had never seen an airing cupboard. And an airing cupboard, for those not in the know, is within the home, like a small, well, it's not small, it's large enough to hold the boiler essentially within the home, but then there's usually some shelves, so there's like a small amount of storage within the airing cupboard. And I have extended family members here who I know would like store some clothes in the airing cupboard, or maybe they used to like dry clothes in the airing cupboard. Essentially, it's a cupboard with a boiler in it. Our boiler in the States always used to be in the garage. Like, we'd have a large garage, and so it was always just like outside in the garage, not in any type of cupboard, and not in the house. So that's something that I had never experienced before. The next thing on...
Yeah, mine is located outside. Like, you would have to walk outside, and it's just right... In fact, it's just right over there. But it has its own little separate room outside. You open the door from the outside. We don't really call it a boiler. We as in me, I know some people, I think on the East Coast, will call them boilers. We just call it a water heater, right? But yeah, outside. Most of them are either outside or in the garage.
On my list is the washing up bowl. I had never seen a washing up bowl in the US. It wouldn't really have made sense in the sinks that we had. We had like garbage disposals.
We've all talked about this
It
before.
just wasn't the way that we like did dishes.
Yeah.
In the US, I know that washing up bowls potentially have been in homes in the US. So again, I'm not saying this only happens in the UK, but in my experience, I personally went 20 years without ever seeing one in the US. So I moved to the UK and wondered why everybody had an extra sink within their sink. Again, there's a long history of me questioning washing up bowls on this channel, so you can go find my thoughts in other videos. I don't like them. I know a lot of you do. But for the sake of this video, let's just say, like it or not, I had never seen it before moving to the UK. And for my final three...
We have talked about it as well, so we don't need to get into it. In a prior video, they showed something like that, and I questioned it. And you all were wonderful enough to explain the washing bowl for sure. But yeah, don't use them, don't see them. So just difference, you know. But yeah, I could see how it would save money, I guess. Just to put a little cap on the topic, instead of a washing bowl, we have a plug that plugs the sink, so you can literally, we have dual sinks, two-sided sinks, two basins, you know what I mean? So one you can fill up with water and do your washing in, and then just pull the plug out and it drains. And then the other side you have for drying or whatever.
3 items. We are back in the bathroom, loo, toilets, whatever you want to call them, with some other things I hadn't seen. So I hadn't seen a chain or a pull cord to flush a toilet before. Had never seen that in my life. I've seen them now in like, again, I keep thinking of like an old-timey like pub that they might be in to actually like a chain to flush a toilet.
I so want to
and
flush
equally,
a toilet
I hadn't seen the pull
chain.
cord to turn on and off the light in the bathroom. Again, down to electrical codes. Americans are like, let's just put all the electricity into one wet room. That's fine. Electrocute yourself away. But here in the UK, there's some different standards. So I had never seen a cord in the ceiling to turn on and off the light. I also hadn't seen the dual option toilet flush button in the US. I had only ever seen like what would you call it? Like a handle, like a flushing handle. That's honestly, there's a small possibility that I had seen like a button push flush for a toilet in America, very small. But even if I had, it wouldn't have been the dual type where you get to choose your level of flush, because I remember getting to Heathrow Airport the first time I ever stepped foot in the UK, and I took a picture to send it to my friends back home to be like, A, I don't understand what's happening. B, look, I'm in a foreign country. So the multiple options when it comes to toilet flushing was new to me in the UK. And the final thing I had never seen before moving to the UK is this style of electric shower. I lived in a flat share, or it was a house share actually, in London years and years ago that had one of these, and I was very confused as to what was happening. I knew that it was the shower, but it was just strange to me that it was like this separate box that I needed to turn on. I was always used to the more standard type of shower that looks like this, so experiencing that for the first time was new for me when I moved to the UK. Now that brings me to the end of this first time.
Before I'm going to go back and just take a look at
I knew one of these, and it was a house share actually.
Let me go back here. I want to take a look at it. Yeah, I have no idea what that is. I have never seen that before. The button flushing on toilets, yeah, I've seen that all over the place here in the States. I would love to be able to pull a cord and flush a toilet. Oh, that'd be so awesome. I've never seen it, but I know I've seen it online. But yeah, that is crazy, right?
To the more standard type of shower that looks like this. So experiencing that for the first time was new for me when I moved to the UK. Now that brings me to the end of this video. Comment below and let me know what was most surprising to you that I had never seen before moving to the UK. I would love to hear it, and things that you might have experienced when going to a new country when it comes to maybe household items that were new to you. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Again, down to electrical code.
Okay. Thank you, Kaylin. That was very informative. Yeah, a lot of those I have a unique advantage. I've been watching a lot of UK-centric videos. So a lot of these on the list I've been able to get some sort of information on and already go and see them for the first time, like the outlet and the water bowl, sink bowl or whatever we're calling that, washing bowl, and other things. The outlet, the outlet in the bathroom, though, that kind of surprised me, where it requires a different plug. What else was kind of unique? That last one with the shower, that's something I've never seen before, for sure. Yeah, carpet in the bathroom. I have seen it. Some of the older homes, I don't even want to say older, but homes in the 70s. People in the 70s, at least here in the States, were putting carpet everywhere. The shag carpet. And that is where I've seen it before. Now, most of the time over the years, styles have changed, and they've pulled the carpet out and tiled the floor in the bathrooms and other places. But back in the 70s, at least here in the States, putting carpet everywhere was the thing to do. I remember my parents had this shag. Oh, back then it was awesome, but now it was like, couldn't imagine seeing shag carpet. But this was an awesome video. Thank you, Kaylin, for allowing us to watch. I did learn some things today on a lot of different things. So, like we just mentioned. So, I love her videos. So, hopefully we'll get to do more. But the most important thing is you go and support her and her channel, Girl Gone London. Links to the video, and her channel will be, of course, in the description. You all are wonderful people. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with me. I know you're all going to start adding some things too that I'll never hear about, but I love the fact that y'all will comment and put more context to a lot of these things that we learn. I hope everybody's happy, healthy, and safe. Kids are wonderful. Thank you. And we'll see you later. I hope so. All right. Take care. Bye.
Mark from the States, Mark from the States, it's Mark